What is going on, guys? The NFL playoffs are finally here. In this video, I'll be going through my top player prop picks for the wildcard round. I haven't posted an NFL video in a few weeks here, so it's kind of nice to get back into things. To be full, transparent with you guys, I did not bet any week 17 or any week 18 NFL. I generally don't, just because it gets too difficult for me to find really good spots that I like. And as you guys know, I'm very picky when it comes to making my picks. But I do have a handful of plays for the wild card round. This is going to be my only video of the weekend for NFL. Apologies, I couldn't get NBA videos out to you guys most this week. I work in tax accounting. As you guys know, January is a very busy month in tax accounting. So I'm hoping to get at least 3 or 4 videos for NBA out for you guys next week. But anyways, let's talk NFL. Been a really good NFL season for me. I have profited in 13 of 16 weeks this year. Completely unsustainable. It's been a crazy year. All the plays that I'm going to talk about here in this video, I posted for the VIPs back on Tuesday. So the lines have moved on some of these props, but if you want to become a member of the VIPs, so you can see like all of my NBA plays, my soccer bets, my tennis bets, all my other bets besides of what I'm just posting here on YouTube. You could use the QR code up in the top right corner of this video. That will give you a 3-day free trial for my VIP. Or you can use the link in the description below, which will also give you that same 3-day free trial. It's the same thing. Either the link in the description or the QR code too. Both send you to the same place, Odd Shopper Tales, where all of my VIP content is held. You'll also get a special role in the Discord and access to a few secret Discord channels. If you don't want to become a VIP, totally fine. You'll have to rely on my videos when I post them to get all of my plays. And as you know, I don't post every single day. I post often. I post NFL every single week, but it's late in the week. I post NFL or NBA, most days, but there's obviously times where I miss. So if you want to become a VIP, you'll see all the plays. But at least come to join the Discord server. Either way, Discord's completely free to join. The link to join is in the pinned comment below. And then a couple other shout outs before I get into the plays here. You see the big banner on the right of the video here, Underdog Fantasy. Play $5, get $75 in bonus entries when you use promo code LayTheHouseRM. Underdog Fantasy does sponsor my videos and most of my content too. So if you don't have an account with Underdog yet, sign up using that promo code. You'll get the bonus funds. You'll get a lot of discounts and promos. It's just a really good app. And honestly, it's the one that I use the most. So that's why I'm happy that I have this partnership with them and that they are willing to sponsor all of my videos. And then another sponsor of the videos is the tool I'm showing on my screen, which is the tool that I use every day for my research. It is Outlier.bet. Paid subscription website. It's the best research tool out there. If you want a 7-day free trial for Outlier, you see it in all my videos. There's a link in the description below where you can get just that. All right, let's get into the plays for this week. I have 3 regular bets and I have 3 parlay fillers, so not like a huge card for me. Like I mentioned before, I did place these bets way earlier on the week, so some of the lines have moved, but I'll talk about that here as I get into the players. So the first prop that I am on this week, it is Pat Freiermuth, under 35.5 receiving yards. This line has moved down slightly, just a yard on PrizePicks and Underdog Fantasy, so you're not really losing too much value on it. But basically, Freiermuth, he went under this number in 12 out of 14 games this season with both Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf active. You have to filter for both these guys because obviously Rodgers, main quarterback, DK Metcalf, the main guy who gets the targets on the teams. You got to include the games with the main players in it. He only averages 25.2 receiving yards per game in the sample size. The Texans are the 7th best defense in the NFL when it comes to defending tight ends. They're only allowing 45.6 yards per game to them, and only 5 tight ends on the entire season had over 33 yards against them this year. One of which was Trey McBride, who had a massive game. I'm not sure if he had 134 yards. That was the game where he had like 15 targets, where Brissett was just peppering him the ball every single play. Obviously, Freiermuth's not going to get 15 targets. He averages about 3 targets per game. I think it's just a super good spot for Freiermuth to go under his number. Obviously, this game isn't until Monday Night Football, so if you want to hold off on placing this bet until Monday, you might lose another yard or two. But if you're like me, If for NFL, I always think it's the best to place the bets early in the week because unless you're waiting for an injury situation or something, you generally know the matchup. You generally know the trend. Like it's really easy to bet NFL earlier on in the week as opposed to like NBA, where if you make a bet in the morning and then like someone's teammate gets ruled out, like it might screw your entire bet. So that's why I bet the NFL early in the week because it's just really easy for me to make these reads way ahead of time as compared to NBA. But the next prop that I'm on is on a game on Sunday. I guess I'm going a little backwards here, so sorry about that. But um, the play is Dalton Kincaid. I have over 17.5 on the longest reception. This line has moved up to 19.5. I think it's still fine at 19.5. I don't love it as much. You could probably, you could always take the alternate line of 14.5 or whatever. But I'll talk about the 17.5 number that I got, but it kind of applies to the 19.5 too. Basically, he's been frustrating to watch recently. He basically most of these games here recently, it's been a lot of Dawson Knox, a lot of I think it's Jackson Hawes, not Jackson Hawes. What's his name? Yeah, Jackson Hawes. Like, there's so many targets that you see a tight end catch the ball, and you're like, oh, Kincaid, yes. Then they say like Hawes or like Knox. It's like, well, crap. Okay, this isn't Kincaid. But anyways, that's besides the point here. He's been getting there in the second half either way. He's gone over this number in 10 out of 12 games this year, averaging 22.6 on the longest reception. But obviously, most of these games he has a 20-yard reception or longer. The Jags, it is a solid matchup for Kincaid and the tight ends against the Jags. They do give up the 10th most receiving yards to tight ends and the 8th most receptions to tight ends this season too. So, hopefully it's Kincaid that makes these catches. I wouldn't feel confident enough to bet in Knox or in Hawes or anything. But due to the fact that Kincaid's, he's been clearing this number almost every single game this year, I think it's a really good spot for him to at least get one long catch against the Jags this week. Going backwards, apologies about that. I didn't plan this video well enough, I guess. But the last regular prop that I'm on is Kyren Williams over 64.5 rushing yards. You can still get this over on Hard Rock. The number is now up to 66.5 on Underdog Fantasy and 67.5 on PrizePicks, where you can see here at the 67.5, it's not as strong because he's had 66 a couple times. He's at 65 another times. Like, it gets a little dicey, especially as you're getting a few yards away from what the trend is showing. But you can still get the 64.5 on Hard Rock and Novig. So this is the number that I like a lot, and I'm going to talk about it. But he's gone over this number in 13 out of 17 games this season, averaging 73.7 rushing yards per game. The Rams are 10-point favorites, and in games where the Rams win this year, so we'll go filter for games won by 0 or more, he's averaging 71.6 yards per game as well. He had 72 yards against the Panthers back on week what was the week? Back on week 13, when Corum actually had 81 more yards in that sample. The Panthers allow the 8th most rushing yards per game at 106.6 yards per game, and they've allowed 12 running backs to go for 71 or more rushing yards against them. So the 64.5 number on Hard Rock, I think it's a really good number. 66.5 on Underdog Fantasy, not as great, but it's okay. And then the 67.5 on PrizePicks, I think that's a skip because you could obviously get 66.5 on Underdog Fantasy. You might as well go place it on Underdog because if you have one, you're going to have the other. So always take the best number. But going along with this, though, I actually have two more props on Kyren this week and on the alternate lines. First one is over 49.5 rushing yards for the same reasons that I talked about before. Let me take the filter off for the wins. But he's gone over this number in 33 out of his last 34 games. That's all there is on this one. And then another trend and prop that I'm on for Kyren as well. It is another alternate line, but it's over 11.5 rush attempts. He's gone over this number in 35 straight games the last 2 years. And I think even longer, even going back to 2023. But obviously Outlier doesn't go further back than the last 2 seasons. But 35 straight games. Rams are 10.5-point favorites. It makes sense for him to get at least 12 carries. One more parlay filler or Green Goblin play for this week is also on Monday Night Football. It is CJ Stroud over 179.5 passing yards. Stroud's gone over this number 12 out of 14 games this year, averaging 217.2 passing yards per game. The matchup's great. Steelers have allowed 16 out of 17 quarterbacks this year to throw for 186 passing yards or more against them. They allow the fourth most passing yards per game just in general on the season. Good spot to go over this alternate line on CJ Stroud. Not enough confidence enough in the normal line, which looks like it's around 224.5. It's just, yeah. I don't love it enough to go there. You see the 7 out of 14 trend. So alternate line on CJ Stroud, 179.5 passing yards. Actually, they have 169.5 up now too. So either one of those are fine over on PrizePicks. But that is going to wrap up all the NFL plays for this week. Like I said, I made my slips back on Tuesday, posted them for the VIPs on Tuesday. So all the VIPs, they've been on this for a week now. Like I mentioned before, I'm not going to have another NFL video this week, so I'm not going to do like a standalone Sunday and a standalone Monday like I normally do. That's probably going to be the norm for the last few weeks here in the playoffs. I will definitely have videos for each week of the playoffs, though, for NFL. My next video in general will probably be NBA, hopefully Monday. If not Monday, hopefully Tuesday. I really can't make any promises. So that's why it's important to be in the Discord server, so I can give you all the all the notifications and things like that. But like I said before, if you want the 3-day free trial for VIP, use the QR code in the corner or use the link in the description below. I also came out with a video last week of me showing my NBA process on Outlier. So if you're interested in learning a little bit about NBA now that the NFL is winding down, I went through a really good video last Sunday going through my process. I'm going to try to make a lot more educational videos just like that too moving forward, just so I can get more information out to you guys. So if you are using Outlier or a similar tool, you can self-serve yourself and basically learn the same strategies that I use every day, make a lot of the winning picks that I do every day. Like I've had a really good run recently, especially in the last 4 or 5 months since the NFL started in college football and everything. It's been my most profitable NFL season to date. Hopefully we can wrap it up with a few more wins, but I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end if you did. If you did, please drop a like on the video, drop a comment, if there's any questions that you have. And best of luck on your best this week, everybody. Thanks for watching.